When I was 19 years old, I took my own pressure washing and car detailing company from zero to $27,000 a month in just 3 months. Most people think I got lucky or had some special advantages, but the truth is, I made a decision that most detailers never make. Since then, I've helped hundreds of mobile detailers scale past $10,000 a month using the exact same system, most of them in under 60 days. So today, I'm going to break down my exact journey in the complete client acquisition system behind it so you can see exactly how it's even possible as a complete beginner. Let's get right into it. From a young age, I had made the decision that I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I would watch videos of influencers like Gary Vee, this was almost 10 years ago, talking about how you didn't need to go to college to make a lot of money and how you could be your own boss. I started multiple different businesses in high school, from reselling electronics to running ads for other industries, and I had varying levels of success with all those things. I wanted to jump into a service business like pressure washing or car detailing, and that's what I chose. My parents, friends, family, no one actually supported the business. They didn't think I could make a lot of money with it. My parents were worried that if this was actually a stable, long-term career, most businesses fail. They told me that the people who succeeded in these things got lucky. And I didn't want to accept that as the answer. I believe that if I went all in, I could make it happen and I could actually make something of myself at a young age. I didn't have a ton of money when I first started. All I had was a credit card, and I had a 1996 Ford Ranger that I bought that was absolutely beat down, rusted. It was the worst car you possibly could have ever seen. I brought it into my mechanic to get an inspection sticker because that's what you need to drive it in the state in Massachusetts where I was located, and it didn't even pass. My mechanic looked at me and said he was worried that if I drove this thing, I would get into a serious accident or it would break down on the highway. That's how bad it was. I didn't let any of that burn me, and I still kept pushing because I was determined. And that's the biggest lesson I've learned in business so far, is that you go all in, you invest in yourself, you take the risks, and you just keep trying. You don't give up. Eventually you will succeed. Most people quit before they strike gold though. When I first started my car detailing company, I didn't have a ton of money. All I had was the basics of equipment. I had an old beat down truck that was older than me, was rusted, and I had a few years of experience running ads. But even though, despite I had been running ads already for years, I still lost thousands of dollars when I tried to advertise my car detailing and pressure washing business. And that's when I learned that nothing good in life is easy or happens quick. You have to go through years. Marketing is something that is not easy to learn. If it was that easy, everybody would just be successful, because marketing and getting clients is the number one biggest reason why most car detailing companies fail. And the beautiful thing about that is, because it's so hard, most people won't succeed. So if you get the right people on your team and you just keep pushing and keep pushing, that means that you'll be one of the few people who do succeed. Because if everybody could succeed easily, then it wouldn't be worth pursuing it. And what I also learned is that not having the right mentors or guidance on your team from day one can cost you months and or years of potential growth and hundreds of thousands of dollars. I knew that starting my business, investing in mentorships, investing in coaching was a risk. However, my mindset at the time was that the biggest risk I could possibly take was taking no risk at all. I was young, I lived at home, and I knew that if I didn't go all in now, I didn't take this shot on myself later in life, I would just have regret. Because the worst thing I could possibly imagine happening is I just go to college or I get a job and I just go down the traditional 9-to-5 route like everybody else. That was the worst thing that could happen. But the real worst thing that could happen is I don't go all in, I don't take the risk. A few years go by and now I'm stuck wondering to myself when I'm in my early 20s, man, what could have been had I had just gone all in? What could have been had I had just actually taken that shot and believed in myself? And I started out with the most bare bones equipment and the most bare bones vehicle. I invested all of my money in coaching and mentorship from other million-dollar car detailing business owners. I knew that if I could just figure out how they get customers, I would have money to take care of the rest of the business, hiring employees, tools, vans. However, I also knew that if I couldn't figure out that one part of the business, which is how to get clients, then nothing else would matter. It doesn't matter how good of a job I did. It doesn't matter what tools I had. It doesn't matter how shiny the wrap on my brand new van was. I knew none of those things would matter, because if I couldn't get customers, the only thing that was 100% guaranteed is that I would be out of business. So I invested all my money in learning from the most successful entrepreneurs in marketing, advertising. How do I actually build a system where I can get clients on demand and fill up my schedule? And I knew it had to be possible if I kept trying and I invested enough money, because there's millions of cars in each area. The demand for car detailing is huge, Most car detailers just don't know how to advertise properly, and it took me years to figure it all out. And this is what allowed me to succeed and scale, because while other beginner detailers focused on equipment, tools, vans, they focused on all these other things besides the most important part, which is making money. I focused on how do I set up a system where I can get clients on demand and book out my schedule for weeks without having to knock on doors or pass out flyers. I knew that if I couldn't have a consistently booked schedule, there would be no point in even running the business, buying the latest tools or equipment. I structured my ad campaigns with strong creatives, offers, hooks, and retargeting campaigns so I could retarget interested leads, so that way I could only talk to people who are actually interested in getting my service. Using what I had learned from my mentors and my previous years of experience in advertising, I built a system that allowed me to have my schedule booked out without having to go pass out cards or knock on doors. I just had to show up, do the jobs, let my employees do the jobs, that's it. And that's the same thing we do for our clients now. The only issue the people we onboard now into Rocket Detailer have is they just can't keep up with all the jobs we get them. And because people were coming to me instead of me having to go out there and knock on doors to get them, this positioned me as someone of status and a high authority business owner. Because think about it, if you're out there knocking on someone's doors, what's the customer thinking? They're thinking, man, this guy must not have a lot of business. People don't want to work with people who are desperate. If you want me to personally set up and run this complete client acquisition for your mobile detailing company, the same system I use to hit $27,000 a month in 90 days, click the first link in the description below to see if you qualify for our Done For You program. We guarantee to add $80,000 in new sales in 12 months. Here's exactly how I was able to hit $27,000 a month in 90 days after I had spent years of struggle building out the system. And it's gonna sound oversimplified. My first month with the system, I did $14,000 in sales. And the only thing I did was I just turned up the ad spend. I went from $20 to $30 a day in ad spend to about $70 a day. The only key changes I made a month to was I hired an employee, and then I just increased my ad budget up to about $100 plus a day. All I did to scale it to $27,000 a month was I just turned my ad budget up to about $5,000 a month, which is $170 a day. And that was producing me just under $30,000 a month in sales every single month, not counting upsells, referrals, and anything else like that. So if you want to implement these specific steps and trying to build out your own system, then what I want you to do is go make some money, and then go take that money and be willing to go spend the months and years of trying to learn advertising from scratch, learn what this does, learn what that does. Go take a couple $1,000 and just be like, hey, I'm just going to go burn this on ads so I can see what works, what doesn't work, right? If you're going to start a business and you're going to go everything DIY from scratch, that's what you're up against. That's what I went through. That's what you're going to have to go through as well if you actually want to go out there, learn everything about advertising A to Z and make this work so where you can scale past those big numbers of $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 a month. Hey, people who are ahead of you, invest in your self-education, invest in mentorship. That's the name of the game in business when it comes to action and means success. The system I use to go from $0 to $27,000 a month in 90 days is the same one I use now to help other detailers scale their businesses. This isn't some coaching program where I teach you how to geotag your Google business profile or just put you in a course in a community. This is a complete done-for-you service where we handle your entire client acquisition system end-to-end and coaching and scaling past $10,000 a month. Well, all you do is focus on what you do best, which is detailing bark. You want me to personally set up and run this client acquisition system for your mobile detailing company. Click the first link in the description below to see if you qualified for our Done For You program. I'll see you in the next video.